Hello and welcome to today's tier list video for the Arrowgod class. Are you trying to figure out which skills are the best to be using throughout your leveling from levels 1 all the way up to 100 and then towards the end game content for your class? And I'm going to explain all of it from my experience so far coming into the main end stages of Chaos. Hello everyone, and yes, smash a like, comment and subscribe for more daily videos of me, MrSneakyy. We're here on the official idle gaming channel for Legends of Mushroom, and guess what? I am an official content creator, so why not smash that subscribe button, help me out, grow this community of Shroomers together, and we can learn forever, right? Because this game is a really fun game, and while we've been playing it, I've been playing the Arrowgod class, and next to me you can see all here is all the skills in the game, and I'm actually going to rank these the best skills or the worst skills, obviously in their respective order. And you're probably wondering what gives me this, maybe like, you know, experience or why I'm able to do this. And like I say, we are so far on our main account. We've been playing this game for about a month now, but this is our actual main account I've been playing for the last about 2.5 weeks, and we're on Chaos 1, which is great. And the next, or if you're wondering what stage we're at, you can see our first ever soul rush is ending, so that will give you a nice idea on how deep I actually am. As well, if we just go into the ranking, you can see my rank is rank 8 on the server overall for level, right? So I've got a good idea. I've already played Arrowgod all the way through, and what we're going to be doing is pretty simple. Going into the skill menu, and as I explain certain skills, we can apply these obviously onto the tier list, right? So one thing I'm going to just say out of the bat straight away, all of these early game skills, honestly, you won't need to realistically worry about. You're not going to be using these anytime, you know, for a long time. If you are wondering which ones are the better ones, it is this lead the charge and the Thorn Thicket. This is just going to give you a little bit of immobilization onto the target if for some reason you die in the early game. And obviously this is nice because it's basic attack damage, which the crossbowman wants to do in the early game, right? So if we actually go into the tier list now, we can actually start placing these boys around onto their respective areas, right? So honestly, I'm going to just put all of these in the D. They're just not really worthy of being used, and we can just put these two in the C because they're honestly, they're the best of these two, all of these early game, you know, skills that you'll be using just to level up until you hit that level 30 and get into more of a archer based role. Are you tired of spending money in your favorite mobile game like F2P Kingdom here and not gaining any bonuses for spending? Well, check out Aptoid's actual app. They have App Wallet, and anytime you spend in games, you're going to get a bonus for that. And on top of this, if you're checking out Legend of Mushroom, you can type in my special promo code, MrSneakyy, and by claiming this, you're going to get 5% extra bonus in all of your purchases for Legends of Mushroom. This lasts from 1st of May to the 31st of May, so please take advantage of this and help yourself out and get some extra free goodies for your main game. So then you're going to get access to the rares, right? The blues, and then into the purple skills. And these actually got some decent skills that you're going to be using for quite a while, which might surprise some of you if you're looking at this thinking there's no way I'm going to be using a blue skill at like level 100. And I'm going to tell you, you will be if you're trying to do certain things, right? So if we go back into the magical game, what we're talking about straight away is the Attack Surge, right? Attack Surge is arguably one of the best steroids you can actually apply to yourself as a Arrowgod player if you're specifically just trying to go for the maximum single target damage. And this actually is really valuable if you're trying to storm the capital of light in the cross server showdown, right? Because as you guys know, the light core doesn't actually do any damage back. It's only the players that might catch you through their defending, right? So this is honestly, if you're going for a 5 skill full DPS setup, is one of the must you honestly should be putting in for an insane increase of just over damage over time, right? When we're looking at the other skills though, I will be honest with you, these aren't too great. This is just kind of like a better version of the green that we've just kind of talked about. And this is kind of your first set of AoE damage. You will use this, but you're going to get rid of it very, very soon. And what I mean by that is these next 3 purple ones, right? The purple ones are actually pretty good in the early game, and what a lot of players will be using for quite a while until you get some decent or the bigger actual impacting skills. So Pineapple Bomb or the Pineapple Plunge is honestly one of the best AoEs you'll be using for a while. So if you can whack this on and just allow you, to push through, you're going to be happy with it. And the same with Sprawling Vines. This is a lot better. It's doing the same imprisoning on the target, and it's giving you that time to actually deal DPS before anything comes close to you, and is AoE damage. So this is a lot better in regards to all of the other skills. And as you can imagine, the purple one is, again, it's just nice. This is a slow to the target. So if you know the target's going to have to move from A to B and you can slow them down even further, this does help you quite considerable, right? So if we're going to place these into, the tier order, we are going to be pretty fair with this, but one I am going to talk about more, as you guys know, is Surge. Surge is definitely an A rank skill. This thing is just so good. You are going to be using it throughout the game. I will promise you that. And sometimes you'll be surprised when you're doing grumpy raids, like I say, or the Capital of Light, and you're going for the full DPS kind of build. This thing does some insane single target damage, right? When we're coming to the other skills, I am going to just put these into the B category for the slow, because the slow is kind of relevant compared to the AoE damage, which honestly gets outclassed by all of these purple skills, right? In my eyes, you just honestly start to use these a lot more often. So the next 3 skills we're going to talk about is the golden skills you unlock. And this is obviously Nature's Renewal, your Shroom Shield, and the Bat AoE damage skill. And you will honestly use these for quite a while, especially the 2 actual healing abilities. Because if you've not noticed, or if you've not been sleeping under a rug, these 2 skills, in my eyes, are S tier skills. These are honestly skills you will use throughout the time now. As soon as you unlock them and you've been stuck on certain bosses because you're dying, you will always be putting one of these skills on. And even then, maybe you need to put 2 skills on, because like you say, sometimes you might be dying even with just the one. And these will allow you to cheese through and push through deeper content in the game. And we can even look and showcase that, obviously, with our in-game build, because the current build I'm running even to this day still consists of both of these. Because when we go to challenge one of these deep nasty bosses, which I'm kind of stuck on, you're going to see actually how powerful this is, right? This is going to buy me as much time as possible, because that shield has already taken 1 hit. It's taken a 2nd hit. I've got the immortal shield up. Now it's going through another one. I've survived, right? So just by surviving with that Shroom Shield and even just the Nature's Renewal, giving a little bit of extra healing on, even auto on, it's going to allow me to push through content. So it's very important that you use these 2 skills, because you will honestly get stuck if you don't use this Nature's Renewal or the Shroom Shield. So now let's talk about the bat, because to be honest, the bat is just going to be a damage amplifier, right? If you've got a bad skill like maybe your purple Pineapple Bomb, this is going to get redone for, obviously, your bat. Your bat just straight up does more damage, so you're going to swap these 2 out. But the batting trace isn't obviously as impactful as some of the other ones that we need to talk about. So if we're going to put these guys now onto, obviously, the tier list, it's going to be very simple with the bat. The bat is honestly just going to stay in the B tier. I just don't think it's, that insane. It's just a basic ability that you will be using, I will promise you. But now we're into the orange skills, and these orange skills are very good. And some of them are obviously better than others in my eyes, right? And you can do a lot of things, and I know some people might argue maybe one of these deserves a higher ranking than the other, and it's very hard to obviously try and get this all placed in. But let's go over what I call the Holy Trinity, right? It's the Holy Trinity of CC, and this is your Take It Easy Breezy and your Easy Bomb and the Duran Bomb, right? These are basically your watermelons and that Acorn style skill. And these are so powerful, and this is honestly one thing that a lot of players I don't think realize allows them to actually get through bosses. And what I mean by that is when we look in game, when we read these 3 skills, we're going to reduce the amount of that target's movement speed by 40%, which is an insane decrease in slow, especially when you look at Easy Breeze reducing their attack now by a flat amount, and then the other one doing the attack speed. So by having all 3 of these on, you're literally reducing the amount of base stats you're fighting against, and that honestly will help you go through a lot of the content in the game that you might be struggling. And even at certain times, you know, you might put your 4th skill could not be Nature's Renewal. You might put one of these on, and it will help you with just having 4 DPS. With the Shroomy Shield, you'll be surprised how much you can push through with this extra bit of damage because of the natural debuff, obviously, to the bosses, right? So those 3 I'm definitely happy about. But as a Arrowgod player, we've got 3 other skills to talk about, right, as well. This is going to be your Coin Bomb, your Pal Bomb, which is Slime Bomb, and then your Meteor Fall. So Meteor Fall, personally, this is mainly for mage players. This is what you're all going to be using. Same kind of with, I think, like the Slime Bomb. It's okay for, you know, a damage supplement, but you're not going to be using this that much. You're going to try and use the other skills that actually benefit you way more. But Coin Bomb, right? Coin Bomb is actually not a bad one at all. This is giving you a 35% basic attack and damage increase. Actually really good, again, if you're trying to run a 5 skill setup purely for DPS, right? If you're trying to get that maximum amount of damage increase, having those steroids in the early game is very, very important to hit those high damage numbers, right? So if we're going to go into the tier list, like always now, to finish this little section up, all we got to do is easily put, I would put the Duran Bomb purposely in actually S tier. And the reason is it's an S tier skill for me is the fact that you can combo the Duran Bomb with the Hydro Snail or any of the snail pals you have. That is a movement speed stack, and that is honestly so OP against like the slime boss and certain other bosses that require that movement from A to B before they attack you. So really powerful one on that. Same with the both of the watermelons. I just think this holy trinity is just so powerful to have, and it allows you as a PvE, you know, Arrowgod player to punch through a lot of the content because you do have weaker stats, right? You don't have that stun chance, you don't have the defense or the counter strike like a warrior player does. So we do need to try and make them weaker to kill them, right? When we're going into the Coin Bomb, I'm going to put Coin Bomb as a A tier. I don't think it's as more impactful as these 3, but it's definitely a very important skill. It allows you to actually pump some insane damage in the right modes that you're going to be fighting for, right? And now we come to the last 2, and I'm actually going to put these very ruthlessly in B tier. I'm going to obviously shake this about just so people don't scream at me, because obviously this doesn't look too great, but if we're looking at stuff like at pure rankings now, that looks a lot better, right? If you're going to rank them all in order now. So now we're getting into the final set of skills. These are basically the end game skills that you're going to be using, right? And I'm going to straight away throw 2 into the dumpster. For our class, it might be good for some other classes and other builds, but we have these 2 summoning builds. They're just trash. I promise you guys. Just don't use them. I know you're going to get them. They're going to be okay, you feel like, because they're doing more damage than the other skills. Just don't do it. Just don't do it to yourself. It is painful. Because you'll hit a wall, and then you'll realize by just reducing the attack speed or the attack flat rate of these, you know, bosses with the 2 orange skills at the top, you're going to get through. So promise me you don't use these. However, we've got 4 other ones, and these are very juicy, right? And this is where I think the list is going to get very heated in the comment section. And obviously, I would love to hear your opinions on this throughout, right? So when we're going into the game now, and we're going to start looking at these next set of skills, right? Because we do have access to them all. The 1 or 2 skills you will notice I always have equipped is going to be my smoke bomb and just disarm. This is amazing, and to be honest, even dazzled, there's certain reasons you're going to use different ones. I will explain in a moment, but smoke bomb is a must use. You have to have this on your class when you're running in that early phase, especially when you're getting access to the legendary skills. You're just increasing the amount of damage that monster takes by a flat amount of 30% for 5 seconds. And this is what gets you through a lot of the content. It allows you to basically combo off with all of the other skills and just do an absurd amount of damage cost of this almost, you know, flat increase of damage. So with that, obviously we have the disarm and dazzled, and both of them are really good. I do actually prefer disarm more for PvE and PvP. That's kind of why I have it, you know, equipped more. But dazzled here is a really good one for PvE exclusive, because I think with this, again, when you're going against the slime boss, maybe the, you know, the crocodile, the big dungeon diver guy who's trying, you know, drill you down, all of those type of bosses that need to move, if you just stun them in place for 1.5 seconds and then all the movement speed reductions is applied after, you're basically having yourself a free, you know, 6 to 10 second timer of just DPSing down the boss. So it is a very, very powerful spell indeed for that, right? And then the last one that I really do like too, and this is hard for me because I kind of try and fit this into my build, and I wish there was a 6th skill slot for myself so I could do that, and it is Wild Gust, right? Wild Gust is a fantastic skill, and if you have basically Wild Gust and basically Smoke Bomb, you could put both of them on for a super high massive burst damage build, but you will realize the utility of disarming your, you know, monsters you're fighting is so much more powerful than you would think, because obviously allowing them not to attack you means you're not taking damage and you're racing them down again. And we can kind of showcase that anytime we hit a challenge, right? If we hit challenge here and just showcase these skills in action, because it's kind of like my build I'm running right now, you can see the disarm does a long job, right? And then it starts to attack me and then start taking damage, and it's down to me to use my smoke bomb here to basically amplify that last bit to plunge through and kill it, right? And it's just as easy as that. So that's kind of why I think those skills are some of the most powerful ones in the game, especially when you're getting into the late phase. So now let's place these bad boys into, obviously, the tier list so we can have these. And honestly, disarm, I think, is going to be a... Ooh, it's going to be harsh. S is going to definitely be a up here. We might need to move some of these because it's going to be obviously quite fling down the line. I honestly, I'm going to put the dazzled one though in A. I think that's going to be, let's be honest, true. Same with Smoke Bomb, definitely in S tier. And even, I'm going to put Wild Gust here in the A tier. It's the best out of the lot by a landslide, I will say. But I don't think it's going to be an S tier when we do compare some of these last little skills that you get, right? Because it's very hard to put these in. And I'm not saying Wild Gust is a bad skill at all, guys, right? But it's so hard even for me as a Arrowgod player trying to fit this in when I get access to some of these powerful skills, right? So some of these skills we need to talk about straight away, right? Let's just get the crux out of here. Clone Strike. Clone Strike is just arguably the best skill in the game, and especially for an Arrowgod player, it's one of our best skills entirely in the game, because when you have Clone Strike up and we just go into any footage, as you can see that we're going to be playing, our clone is literally us. So we have an insane amount of combo and just damage straight up, and our clone is going to be doing the exact same thing. So if we just challenge this again, just to showcase how powerful my DPS is, right? Because look at this thing. It takes damage, it's also can evade damage, but it's dealing an absurd amount of damage because it's just doubling up as me, right? So easily the best skill in the game, especially for Arrowgod. You need this thing equipped. It's a game changer, I promise you, once you got it, right? So now let's go into the other skills, because there is a bunch of other pink skills, right, that we can talk about. And On the Arrowgod member tier list, this is obviously going to be different to different players, right? Let's just go through one by one and then we can place them on the tier maker. So Star Array personally doesn't affect me. Again, this is a skill crit rate. This is more for a mage player. If you want to be a mage guy, I would not be mad. Go for this. It's one of your main, you know, crit increases, which is very powerful. But for us, we do get the nasty world snare, right? This is increasing our crit rate by 10%, and actually this is a very powerful skill for our class, because to be honest, depending on which way you run, you can run a very greedy combo heavy build with a very small crit chance using, you know, this world snare to give you a little bit more as a, you know, sacrifice. Or you could just have a higher crit chance with lower combo and still run this and get even higher percentage returns on that crit chance, which is very important if you're comboing off all the time, right? So very powerful skill. And when it comes to the Dragonic Resistance one, this one is actually not too bad. I don't think it's one that you really personally need. Some people might say, yeah, you could use this as an Arrowgod player, but personally, I think this is more a warrior, right? It's a warrior-based skill, so not something I care about. Same when it comes to the Crimson Moonfall. This is a mage, very mage-heavy skill. The fact that if you're playing Chronomancer, you are energy regenerating like a monster, and this is going to allow you to keep stacking this damage increase to 150%. So this is why it's more beneficial for you over someone like me as a Arrowgod. Now, this is where we're kind of cooking, right? We're cooking with Windborn Arrow. This is something I can fully get behind, dealing a nice amount of single target damage. However, vulnerability for 5 seconds. So during this period, non-skill damage dealt is also applies an extra 100% damage. So I literally double up all my damage. That's insane. Every normal attack, combo attack, the crits are coming out. Guys, it's so good. Like, if you really want to hit some massive numbers, I would always recommend that, right? And now we're getting into the, what I would say, the warrior skill. So this is, again, warrior-based skill that you want. When you're losing HP, you're basically going to get a massive amount of stats basically based on it. It's a nice skill for you guys. And now we've got these other two. And to be honest, I haven't had enough experience, and I've been speaking to some other players about this, right? Blade Pierce could be something very powerful, right? We throw sharp blades and we cause the target to lose 1.5% of their maximum HP for 5 seconds. That's a lot of HP that it naturally will lose. However, at the same time, us being Arrowgod players, to be honest, if we set up the correct skill combos, we just naturally out damage this skill. So that's kind of why it's a bit up in the air. And personally, I wouldn't use this, and I'd rather go for Clone Strike, the Star Array, or the Windborn Arrow for that. And even if you have access to it, Blitz Assault. This is actually one of the most powerful skills that I really wish I have, right? I haven't been able to unlock it yet, but this thing is so powerful because this is basically a new upgraded version, in my eyes, of the Shroom Shield or the Nature's Renewal. Because once you activate your Shroom Shield in late game, to be honest, as an Arrowgod player, it takes one hit and then it dies. That's basically 1 second. But this is immediately giving you 3 pure seconds of damage immunity. So you know, no matter what, in that early phase, you can tank 3 seconds of damage, or whenever this skill goes off, that's 3 seconds you have bought. And it has, honestly, a 24-second timer. I know it's a long timer, but it's definitely worth it, especially when you're trying to get through that super high-end content when basically your stats are basically lower than the bosses and you need to cheese through, right? So now we've gone through all of these pink skills. We've gone through them all. Let's place them into this category and finish up on my personal Arrowgod PvE, you know, talent, skill-based, you know, tier list, right? Because it's getting into the long timers. We don't like the long timers, right? So this is a Worldly Snare. Again, I'm going to put this in the C tier. It's just something we don't care about. Honestly, this is a mage specific. However, Star Array is definitely in the top of the A tier. This thing is definitely one of the better you know, pink skills that you want. It's nowhere near as strong as I think as Clone Strike is. No, it's nowhere near as strong as that Blitz Assault. That damage immunity is too powerful when it gets into the later stages. And then Windborne Arrow. Honestly, I'm going to put Windborne Arrow at the top of A. It's very powerful. I'm not going to put it in S tier and make it absolutely broken, but it is definitely, I think, the best of the A category when it comes into those sort of skills. And then, as you can imagine, Blade Pierce. I'm going to put Blade Pierce in the, like, maybe down in the B tier. Let's be fair, top of the B tier. I just don't personally like this skill as a Arrowgod player. And then we can actually put a lot of these skills in the C category, because you might get access to them. They might help you with some damage in the, you know, once you have them. But as soon as you get access to any of these other skills above, you will notice your damage output is so much more greater, because you're actually emphasizing on that combo damage that you deal, right? So this is going to be my tier list for basically all of the best skills for Arrowgod when you're leveling from level 1, going all the way up to 100, and then once you pass that 100 mark, like I am in this game, and I'm kind of going for the final grind to get to 120 to start to awaken, you're gonna start using obviously the later started skills. And this is obviously my current build I am running, as you can see, as I challenge through here. And if I really wanted to obviously win this boss, what I could personally do is get another sort of, you know, disarm effect that will stop it from obviously attacking me as fast, or, you know, maybe just disarming it on a better chance. But just like that, we're getting through, right? And you can see we've got a mixture of yellow skills there. We've got pink skills and red skills. So it just shows you, look, all the skills in the game, especially the lower level ones that you get access to, are going to be very powerful even in the end game. So I hope you guys have enjoyed it. My name is MrSneakyy. Smash a like, comment, and subscribe. And until the next video, stay safe, stay sneaky, and peace out.